So this week's WandaVision was kind of action heavy, not long on closing of loose threads or payoffs to Easter eggs or big bad reveals or cameos. But let's get into it. We take up where we left off last week. It turns out Agatha has a way to absorb power from other witches' attacks and defenses, which forces Wanda to use a more blunt force type of attack. A 2013 Buick Verano. Because I guess Agatha can't absorb a Buick Verano, and that's what I call product placement. When you need to hit someone with a flying car, Buick. This attack is also a Wanda Maximoff original from the Captain America Civil War movie. We then get a scene similar to The Wizard of Oz where we see Agatha's empty boots, which of course is just Agatha being clever again because she's fine. Hey, speaking of originals, we then get Vision dropping in front of Wanda out of the heavens. It's OG Vision, Hayward's spectral Vision, if in white body but not in soul. And poor Wanda's over here thinking, oh my god, the love of my life has returned, happy days are here again, and ouch, ouch, my head, you are crushing my head. Oh my god, the love of my life is crushing my head. But just then, WandaVision shows up. Wanda's Vision, the Vision that came out of her. And he knocks White Vision out of the picture for a while so Wanda and Nice Vision can talk about letting the poor people in town go from this nightmare. We're then taken back to the sword facility where Hayward has reached his final form. Full moron. He's just not a very smart man. He tells Jimmy Woo that no one has evidence of his crimes. I guess he still doesn't know that Darcy got everything from his laptop, because of course Hayward's laptop was easy to hack into. So anyways, Hayward even throws a cheesy villain line at Jimmy Woo. Hey, speaking of Vision, everyone saw that coming from a mile away, Hayward. But while Hayward talks, Jimmy hand magics his cell phone away from a nearby table to phone the FBI. A feat plausible to the viewer because it happened in front of Hayward. We then go back to the witch battle where Agatha confirms that the book we saw near the tail end of episode 7 was in fact the Darkhold. She says that there's an entire chapter of that book dedicated to Wanda, which you think would be pretty nice. But Wanda keeps telling Agatha that she's not a witch. Please stop calling me a witch. Agatha then tells Wanda that Wanda is even more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme, who of course we all know as the guy that didn't appear in this episode, Stephen Strange. He's probably like, have no fear, Stephen Strange is here.
Your power exceeds that of the Sorcerer Supreme.
Actually, I'll be right back with friends. For my money, the most noteworthy thing Agatha said to Wanda was,
It's your destiny to destroy the world.
It's your destiny to destroy the world, which is a pretty crappy destiny. And then we get to the scene that everyone's talking about. I'm talking, of course, about the scene where we discover that Pietro is Ralph Bohner. He's not Peter from the X-Men universe. He's just an out-of-work actor, which means he's both a disappointment to us fans and his parents. It's fine. It's all going to be fine. So he's not an X-Man. He's not even a hero. He's actually a pretty bad person.
You fan of Steven Seagal?
Then we're taken back to Westfield, where Agatha wakes people up, giving the people inside the Hex the chance to confront Wanda using their own words, so they can finally tell her what they really think of her to her face. Here, Wanda's charged with spreading her pain out into the people of town via their dreams at night, a charge she's completely guilty of. The delivery guy even says he's tired, which he wasn't that awake before Wanda got there, so he must be. But while they're out there living with Wanda's pain, Wanda's living in a comforting sitcom fantasy. Not a good trade. One notable thing that went down here was Wanda subconsciously tries to choke these people out. It was like Wanda said, I don't want to hear this right now, but her subconscious said, okay, then they don't get to breathe. Wanda eventually frees them from her chaos magic chokehold, and then she frees them from the city, which looks to be an extremely heavy lift for her, like she's reverse having a baby. But this also has the added effect of disassembling Wanda's family since they're tied to this Chaos Hex reality bubble that Wanda's created. So Wanda is faced with a very difficult choice here. For now, Wanda decides that family comes first. And then the Maximoff family, after spending about an episode apart, finally stands reunited just as the shit hits the fan. On the one side, we've got the Wanda Incredibles and Monica Rambeau, while over on the other side, we've got Agatha the Witch, Spectral Vision, and Hayward the Uber A-hole and his hapless force of incompetence. So sorry, Magic Rabbit fans.
We did have something more planned for Senor Scratchy.
It's no Magic Battle Rabbit.
The rabbit turns into this big demon.
Honestly, I didn't need a Magic Battle Rabbit. We then segue to the battle between the two Visions, Wanda's Vision and White Vision. The fight is a real standstill because they're both basically the same superhero, but Wanda's Vision breaks the impasse by offering a thought experiment known as the Ship of Theseus. Basically, Wanda's Vision convinces White Vision that neither of them are the true Vision, but both of them are the true Vision. On the one side, you have the memory of Vision, and on the other side, you have the actual parts that made up Vision. Then Wanda's Vision gives White Vision access to his own memory banks, which Sword tried to wipe from White Vision, but Hayward was involved, so of course it never got done. This of course means that now, not only is White Vision made up of the original pieces that made up the original Vision, he now has the memories of OG Vision, meaning of the two Visions there, he's the more real one, which causes him to fly away, possibly to kill Vision himself. To kill himself. Or maybe he's gonna go hiking in the Himalayas. He could literally do anything, go anywhere he wanted. Then we're back to the witch fight where Wanda performs the second of two Wanda Maximoff originals from this episode, giving people nightmares. Here she takes Agatha back to her nightmare of when her fellow witches tied her to a post to execute her for her crimes, like they're getting a second chance at justice. And oh, how the tables have turned. But then the undead witch jury rises up and points at Wanda and are like, "You! That's you! You're the bad guy! You're the harbinger of chaos! You're the Scarlet Witch! You! And oh, how the tables have turned. At this point, Wanda's like, great, not this "you are a witch" stuff again. But these older witches aren't having it. They put Wanda on the post to stand judgment, and they deem her the harbinger of chaos, as a magical red crown forms in Wanda's head, seemingly confirming their claims. And Wanda flings the older coven off her and says to Agatha, "You go be a witch," as Wanda seems to angrily give Agatha all of her power. You see her make some shots and miss some shots, and you're meant to think, oh crap, she's got really bad aim. As Agatha absorbs Wanda's power, we see Wanda's face diminishing like that kid in the Yo Magic commercial. But she's not missing her shots. Wanda's been placing runes around the hex, the same runes that Agatha had used on her back in the basement in episode 8. It's a trap! So instead, she drains Agatha of her powers. Wanda makes a full recovery, then embraces one huge truth about herself, that she is the Scarlet Witch. While I too was one of those people that was kind of disappointed in the lack of cameos or the lack of any kind of connection to the multiverse or mutants, as a finale for this series, I thought this episode did a great job in providing for a fitting emotional conclusion to what I feel is the end of the beginning of Wanda's emotional MCU journey. Marvel's taking their time with this story, and their success has given them this freedom, and I think we the fans are all the better for it. What Wanda did here could stir up a lot of anger against superpowered individuals. I mean, Wanda was supposed to be one of the good ones, and look what she did. And perhaps when mutants do arrive in the MCU, the world will not be so eager to greet them. If the comics are anything to go by, I can't wait for all the loose threads to pay off later on in the MCU. And with the Scarlet Witch now arguably the most powerful character in the MCU, this journey could take her to places good guys aren't supposed to go. She could become the main threat lurking in the background for multiple MCU phases. Maybe she'll make a deal with that Chthon guy to get her kids back. I also really appreciate how Marvel Studios took their time in getting us to the concept of magic in the MCU. It seems like the franchise got us ready for this by first going into science, and then into cosmic, and after that came the quantum multiverse stuff. Contrast that with how the DCEU introduced magic into their franchise by dropping a magical girl in the Suicide Squad, then hiring Will Smith to fire normal bullets at her, among other weapons used in that film that have no effect on magic. It's almost like the entire DCEU is Tyler Hayward. Hey, speaking of regular bullets, I can't wait for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And spoiler alert, there's a rumor that mutants are involved somehow. Probably not these mutants, but MCU mutants, which means they're automatically the best mutants. Fight me. If you were one of those people that was disappointed by the lack of mutants on this show, don't worry. They're coming. Kevin Feige has got you. Feige is a man on fire right now. He got rid of the cheap ass at upper management, and since then his genius and passion have become untethered. And look what he's accomplished since then. He brought Thor back. He helped bring in Black Panther, Avengers Endgame. Captain Marvel was okay too. Most importantly, he brought us the most comics accurate version of Spider-Man for my money, and you have my guarantee that he'll do that for mutants too. I mean, the man is incapable of making a bad decision. How dare you even think of ever questioning him? Look, I just think he's earned the benefit of the doubt, because he's basically God, and we should all love and respect this great man. I'll be back in time for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and for now, into the Michaelverse. Out!